What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Derek,
I'm Kevin.
and together we're last week's album. We're bringing you two opinions on the best new music, and this week we're talking about Slow Gum by Fraser A. Gorman. But before we go any further, we're going to start things off like we always do, drinking a beer. Cheers, Kevin, and cheers, everyone at home.
Cheers, Derek, and everyone at home.
All right, so Fraser A. Gorman is a 23-year-old singer-songwriter based out of Melbourne, Australia, and this is his debut release after some singles been released in the past year or so, and this is also being released on Milk Records, which also released Courtney Barnett's most recent record, and so this is his kind of rise to the scene, if you will. So that's it on background. So kicking it to sounds like, Kevin, what did you think?
I think this album sounds like Lou Reed composing M. Ward fronting the band. What do you think?
I like that. I like that. I think this album sounds somewhere between Conor Oberst to Langhorne Slim, but definitely looking like Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you see the album cover, you'll know what I'm talking about, or almost any other picture. So that brings us to key tracks. Kevin, what did you have?
I've got track number 8, We're All Right, and track number 10, Blossom and Snow. What about you?
I'm actually going with track 1, Big Old World, and track 8, We're All Right as well. So I'll kick us off with the album opener, Big Old World. I really thought this one was probably the most simplistic instrumentally on the album, with a lone strummed acoustic guitar, distant sounding vocals, and the lyrics kind of featured these long drawn out stories of dark realism concluded with really brief optimistic choruses. In one interview, he says this song is kind of about perspective, and that's really reflected kind of in those quick, uplifting ends of the verses. So that one kind of stood out to me there, especially because of the lyrics. Track 8, We're All Right. This one really kind of drew me in, kind of by the overall sound. It was really kind of a slow builder, new instruments kind of being added with each verse, and then it kind of comes to a quick pause, which is then a horn section, and it comes in out of nowhere and really kicks off this musical outro following the second chorus. So that just really grabbed my attention, just the onslaught of sounds there. Kevin, why did you like that one?
Yeah, for a lot of the same reasons. I think it was definitely a building track. I also think it just exudes joy. It's kind of a fun romp. There's some soupy electric guitar, galloping drums, triumphant trumpets, as you alluded to, Derek, and this really blaring guitar solo. And then the backing female falsetto vocals add this doo-wop gospel feel a la Lou Reed, particularly from the Transformer era. And it's a song about having fun, and it sounds and feels just like that. And then there's track number 10. Derek, if you thought number 1 was the most simple, I probably thought number 10 was. It's kind of the complete opposite of We're All Right. It's stripped down ballad, actually about Gorman's late father. There's just vocals, acoustic picking, and really lonesome harmonica. The harmonica and vocals actually take turns on the same melody, and he sings so much throughout the album that this one I thought really shows his knack for melody. Sometimes you miss it when he is just sort of almost talking the lyrics, but here you can hear it loud and clear, and I think really shows his range as juxtaposed against the bigger tracks like number 8, We're All Right.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of talk singing, that brings us to best lyric. Kevin, what did you have?
I'm actually going with one from We're All Right, and the line says, "Wintertime is long gone. It's just summer till I get old and gray." There's lots of mentions of rockets randomly across the album, and it mainly talks about love and optimism, though, and I thought this one was just such a huge thought on optimism. I can't think of a more optimistic line. It's summer till I get old and gray. That just sounds really great, and looking forward to the future. So that's what I dug. What about you, Derek?
I'm actually going with one from album opener, Big Old World. I think this one might kind of be towing the line between optimism and pessimism, or, kind of starting one and ending somewhere else. Without further ado, he says, "Did you hear about the girl from New York City? She nearly lost her mind, gazing out the window of her hotel room. I guess I won't contest, as she died doing what she did best. It's a big old world on a sunny afternoon. Just really kind of painting this bleak picture, but then throwing in the silver lining at the end. Really kind of dug that. So that brings us to overall rating and the big question: does slow gum lose its flavor too quickly, or leave you chomping at the bit for more? Kevin, why don't you start us off?
Sure. I will start with rating. On the con side, I thought his sounds a bit derivative at times. We mentioned all the influences, like Bob Dylan or the band or Lou Reed. And also the lyrics get a bit too loose and random sometimes, sort of leaving you scratching your head, not really knowing what he means. On the pro side, though, he does pull from some amazing influences. He's got great taste and a knack for borrowing little bits and pieces from here and there and mixing them together really, really nicely. So overall rating, I'm going to go with a really strong 3 out of 5. Does it lose its flavor too quickly? Not so much. I'm just not sure the full flavor is there, especially like I mentioned, lyrically, it's hard for me to grab on to the meanings of some of these songs. Sound-wise, he's got a great sound, and like I said, a great knack for mixing sounds. So really fun record. I can't wait to hear what he does next. What do you think, Derek?
Kevin, I agreeing with a lot of points here, I guess. I think overall, yes, I'm chomping at the bit for more. More so maybe things to come from him. I think he brings up some really good points about the influences. There are a lot of them, but sometimes not too fresh. And sometimes I thought if the influences weren't tangible enough through sound alone, he name drops sometimes to clear up any confusion. So that's somewhat helpful. I agree with you. I thought the lyrics were, at times, there were some highs and lows. I think that's one area he'll kind of be growing in. Just in kind of comparison to Courtney Barnett, even though this shouldn't be a comparison, I was left more sitting than sitting and thinking at some of his lyrics. So I think, that will just be kind of one area where he'll grow in the future. And in some interviews, he just talked about how some of these this album was a lot about growth for him. So I think just kind of, this is a big step for him. I'm excited to see more to come. That being said, I was kind of on the fence with this rating, but since you're going a strong 3, I'm just going to go 4. So that gives a 7 out of 10 in total to Slow Gum by Fraser A. Gorman. Don't forget to subscribe to last week's album. We're bringing you 2 opinions on the best new music. And as always, I'm Derek.
And I'm Kevin. Cheers.